Largest buildup of U.S. forces in the Caribbean since the invasion of Grenada in '83 or the invasion of Panama in 1989. At the White House, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump continues to review military options for Venezuela, both against the cartels and the Maduro regime.
Now the president is very interested in taking additional measures against the cartels. He's been very clear about that. He's spoken about it, and this is
additional
a promise that
measures
he made to the American public. He has taken unprecedented action to do so.
Okay. I mean, additional measures definitely sounds like a slight, moderate invasion, let's just say this year. But I do want to kind of reiterate the point that I am not team invasion, specifically in a country like Venezuela that has about 150,000 land-based troops. We would have to 100% start a kind of like a mass exodus of soldiers, let's say, into a region in order to even do that. I do think that if you're going to do something, it needs to basically be, the U.S. Navy like parked offshore, and then strategically hitting like very strategic targets. But again, Venezuela is a sovereign nation, and that's just going to be a very tricky, very super tricky scenario geopolitically.
Since early September, when combat operations began here in the Caribbean, over 20 suspected boats have been destroyed, killing over...
Yeah, wait. Imperial America at it again. I don't know, bro. I don't think that we're trying to like take the country or like make it our own, if that makes any sense here. Like I've been like staunchly against, let's say, the concept of like inserting specifically like if you take Maduro. So for example, if you take Maduro, what are we going to do here? We take him out, and then we're going to basically install someone who is to our benefit. I don't think that that's a really good idea, specifically when it comes down to like keeping people where they are, if that makes any sense here. Like if your main goal is to stop the flow of immigration, specifically from Venezuela into the United States of America or even that region, the smartest thing is to make sure that the person that is installed has been like officially elected, let's say, by the people themselves. So that person elected has the benefit of the people, basically to fix all of the terrible things that are actually going on. I think that would probably be the smartest route. Because if you make it so you install someone that is only to Americans' benefit, then the people of Venezuela would probably end up suffering in a manner that they really do not need to be suffering in, let's just say this year. So if you want to keep people where they are, you're going to have to make the country better and make sure that the person that's in charge is actually running things for the benefit, let's say, of the people.
80 people.
Not
now this is
just
named
us.
Operation Southern Spear. The vanguard, as you mentioned, Brian, the USS Gerald R. Ford. She arrived this week in the Caribbean with 4 squadrons of F-18 Super Hornets aboard. Those are strike aircraft, as most of our audience already knows. Ford's 3 destroyer escorts are armed with dozens of Tomahawk cruise missiles ready to strike deep inside Venezuela. Also at sea, Marines aboard the amphibious assault ship Iwo Jima have been doing fast rope training. And here in Trinidad, Marines from warships offshore have been practicing seizing airfields like this on the island, located just 7 miles from Venezuela. And that training ends today, and those Marines will return to their ships and be placed on alert, ready to go ashore in Venezuela if ordered, Brian.
Wow, exciting stuff. Something's got to come to a head soon. It costs too much money to keep them around to not do anything. Lucas, thank you. Let's bring in Florida Congresswoman Maria Salazar. Congresswoman, your thoughts about where this is heading?
Oh, where this is heading is exactly what the president
I know of the
needs to
operation.
do. And look, that's the product of socialism. 25 years ago, Venezuela was one of the most prosperous countries in the hemisphere, with the largest reserves of oil in the world. And
You're
look
right.
where they're at now because of socialist policies. So the president needs to go in. Maduro is a terrorist. He is on the list of the transnational criminal organization. He stole the elections. He was indicted in 2020 in a federal grand jury, and he's the head of one of the most important cartels in the world, the Sun cartel. So it's time to take him out and bring democracy and freedom and no in Venezuela.
I think the best scenario is when he talks to the president, which should be soon. The president could, and I just talked to him on radio, and you'll hear it later.
Right.
He's not going to tell me what he's going to say, but it's basically you should leave and go to Russia. The best thing to do is for you to leave, and while you can.
And that's correct. And we should negotiate his exit, and we should just let him go to whatever he wants to. It's just we need to negotiate when and where, but it's now. Because Maduro is a bad thug. He's a bad hombre.
Don't you think it's significant that the Colombia president, hardly a
bad
friend of
hombre,
ours, backs the idea of Maduro leaving power?
Of course, because they understand that Trump and that he is on the list of the bad hombres, and he needs to go because Petro in Colombia is just afraid that he's going to be next.
Yeah, he's going to be next.
The message to the Colombians is that you need to do free and fair elections next November and keep the Constitution and freedom in Colombia. You know, that's it. Those are our friends.
And
freedom,
stop taking money from the big bad guys out there, guys.
The question is, what kind of progress are we making, the CIA making, in letting the military know your future is not with him? Because that's what he's got. He took the guns away from the people so they could be as brave as they want, but they don't want to be. So how do you do that? What do you hear that's happening on the ground?
Well, I know, and I'm in touch and in contact with Maria Corina Machado, who is the legitimate president of Venezuela, and they are ready within 100 days after they're liberated. They know what they need to do. I mean, Venezuela had a very strong democracy before these thugs took power. That was only 25 years ago. They have the largest reserves of oil in the world. They are more than willing to negotiate and to be working with the oil companies, the American oil companies. So it's not going to be difficult. 80% of the Venezuelans voted against Maduro. Not only that, they have risen many times, general strikes for years. So the Venezuelans are ready to be liberated and not to be a hub for coming into the United States. And I salute President Trump. I'm the chairman of the Western Hemisphere subcommittee within the House Foreign Affairs Committee. I know that area very well,
interesting.
And they are going to be clapping. Venezuela will be the most loyal friend of the United States for the next 100 years when President Trump finishes this job.
The biggest fear is Libya. They got rid of Gaddafi, but there was nobody to step in. So
and that's kind of why I'm very anti the concept of installations, guys, or like specifically taking out the like rulers, because Libya is always in the back of my mind, and a good amount of the like South American countries are also like, listen, guys, we played a gigantic part, let's say, in why things kind of are the way they are there, right? So the last thing since the 80s, at least, right? So what we need to do is not play the game, at least, of installation, because the track record is not absolutely amazing. And if there is a president looking to take over the country, specifically the woman who won, I also think she won the Nobel Peace Prize recently. I think that was her. Like if she can take power, then we can have a different conversation. But as long as that person who takes over is not specifically like 100% like on our side to the detriment, let's say, of the people in Venezuela, then I think I'm fine with it.
That's the question. How organized can you be on the transition if it happens? And we all hope it happens.
They are very organized because the armed forces have been hijacked by Maduro, and they are with Maria Corina. I just told you, 80% of the Venezuelans, including the military, voted to kick this guy out. So they don't have any friends. They're just afraid of him.
Okay, so let's talk about the vote today. I guess the timing is perfect. Zohran Mamdani comes to the White House, an avowed socialist, proud of it, and the rising socialist movement in this country. So in the House, there's going to be a vote on whether to condemn socialism in this country. Hakeem Jeffries weighed in.
Do you condemn socialism in the United States?
I plan on voting in a manner consistent with how I've voted in the past. Listen, I believe as Democrats that we believe in a country where you have a strong floor and no ceiling. Here's what that strong floor consists of.
Let's hear
Social
this.
Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the GI Bill, nutritional benefits, and the Affordable Care Act. By the way, all things brought to you by your friendly neighborhood Democratic Party.
So this is what you introduced. Is that socialism, what he just talked about? Is he still avoiding it?
Of course not. They don't have the moral high ground. The conservatives, the GOP, is also a morally sound party. The problem with the Dems is that they have been infiltrated, and I understand that Hakeem Jeffries cannot recognize it, but the Democratic Party has been infiltrated by an ideology that is completely foreign to the American values, the Judeo-Christian values. And that's why we're putting this resolution on the floor today, just just the facts. We're not, my resolution doesn't have any opinion. It's just the facts. But the problem is the future. I have the stats here. 1 in every 3 young Americans believes that the government should control industries. 1 in 4 thinks that we should abolish private property. I mean, the founding fathers of this country, the people who built this building, should be rolling in their graves. You know, the American values is not the socialist values. And that's why we want to put it on the floor and see how many Democrats vote against it. Or only if they vote against. Last time we introduced this in 23, 100 Democrats on the House of Representatives voted against it. Let's see how many are voting today. And the fact that Mondami, who won fair and square, is in the White House. And it's laudable that President Trump is receiving him, because that's democracy.
Congresswoman, you are pumped up for that big vote. I hope it goes our direction. It'll make me feel better about the country. But I am.
Yeah, you could definitely tell. Hold on. Like guys, you could definitely tell she had some speech training here, right? I mean, all she's just like talking point after talking point after talking point. I mean, do your thing here. Like, listen, I get it. Maduro is troubling, and that's just my opinion here. It is very troubling. His past has been troubling, and the fact that he's in office after losing is also moderately troubling, because anything that you can say about him no longer matters, right? If he had anything good to say, it doesn't even matter anymore, knowing the fact that he lost an election and refused to leave power, right? I guess that's kind of how that works there. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings, and we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry. Right? Listen, like and subscribe.